This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Miami! To mission control, we have liftoff. Phinhub! Phinhub! We talking Dolphin City! Phinhub! Yeah! It's that Dolphin Show! Phinhub!
Welcome to the Phinhub Show, the one NFL podcast you can't leave off your roster. Now here's your hosts, Joe and Kevin DeHaven.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Phinhub Show, brought to you by BetUS. Here's a moment from Mike Vick.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
So if you haven't already, make sure to check out BetUS. We're pinning it down below in the comment section. You guys can bet on all types of things. Who's going to win the game, whether Tua's going to be MVP, who's going to have the most passing yards. So we'll link it down there. Make sure to check it out, guys. They're doing fantastic stuff over there. Plenty of ways to make money. So, yeah, check it out.
So the Miami Dolphins have a bunch of players that have broken out already. Obviously, we have Tua Tagovailoa with his great season last year. You have Tyreek Hill, who is Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle is already a household name. But who else on offense do you have that could potentially be that next guy up, that household name that everyone in the NFL, every single NFL fan is going to have to know by name?
So I feel like it was a breakout last year, but it was a soft breakout, right? And just because he couldn't stay on the field, and that's Devon Achane. But I think he's going to break out more so in the sense of his role is just going to be that much bigger this year. And it's going to be mostly in the passing game. And I truly think it's not going to be like a running back that just so happens to catch some balls. He's going to be involved in the passing attack, running routes, maybe lined up as that third wide receiver, especially now in the beginning of the year. Not having OBJ, not having, some of these other guys like Craycraft that blew up this offseason, that was going to be a huge part of this offense. Not having them for those first 4 games is really going to hurt, but if he can establish himself early on as a weapon, as a wide receiver, I don't see why he wouldn't be a household name by week 4, maybe week 5, and maybe potentially can impact OBJ's, production in this offense, because he might just say, hey, you can't take me out, man. Look what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put me in the game a lot more often.
How has your pass catching improved year over year, your ability to catch football?
Improved a lot. That's something I've always been doing, even when I was young. I like catching the football. I mean, even though I am a running back, I also like, doing receiver type stuff. So it makes me very different and unique in my own way.
You've talked about getting more involved in the pass game and also lining up out wide, more so. How natural do you feel doing all that stuff?
I feel natural because, like I said, it's not my first time. I'll see if I was new, this is like kind of new to me, like me lining outside. But I feel like, it's something I've been doing for years, so it comes pretty natural. As long as I just keep working on it, I feel like, it just comes a habit. Feel like just like I'm a running back.
Yeah, at this point in their careers, I don't think there's any way that you can actually validate the decision to have OBJ over Devon Achane, especially if Devon Achane really gets it going in the beginning of the season while OBJ's out. But I agree. I think Devon Achane's going to have a crazy year, and there's been a lot of talk about him doing more things in the offense aside from just running the ball. And, bringing in a guy like Jalen right now, who also we seem to have a lot of confidence in, I think that ensures that Devon Achane can now take some of those snaps as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I'm super looking forward to what it is that he's going to be able to do for the Dolphins this year. I think he's going to have a major role. And I agree. I think he's going to be a household name by the end of the season.
I think there will be packages that we're going to see Jalen Wright, Raheem Mostert, and Achane out on the field at the same time. And could you imagine that type of speed out there with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and all those 3 running backs? Like, it's going to be a mess, man. But I don't think defenses are ready for what's coming. It's an understatement saying that we are the fastest NFL team, by far.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to really keep people up at night. I feel like the Jaguars don't really know what's coming. I don't want to be so much of a homer and say we're going to blow them out of the water, but Man, I'm expecting some big things because that defense, I don't think they're going to be ready for this.
Honestly, I don't even know what to expect at this point. And it's a lot of fun going into this season knowing that you're about to witness something beautiful. You just have no idea what it's going to look like. There's way too much speed on this team. Like, it's insane. I've never seen anything like this.
It's crazy to think, right? Last year we started the year off crazy record-breaking numbers, going against the Broncos, like all these yards, all these points, and just having that type of year, being the number one offense. But then you think about it, right? And Tyreek Hill said this recently in an interview. I mean, one of his little post-practice things with all the reporters, and he was saying this is the best team I've been a part of since coming to Miami.
We all excited, man. We got a lot of weapons, a lot of playmakers on this team, man. So everybody's, on the very edge of their seats, man. Just waiting for this moment. I think these three days that we had off, all I could think about, was just lining up, playing, alongside of the guys, on offense. So I'm very excited, man. Like, every year is another opportunity, man. Like, to win games and create memories, man. Like, with a great group of guys. And you said it, like, this is our best team that we done had since we've been here. So what a time to be alive, man, to be a Dolphin fan.
And it's crazy, right? Because we've had these teams along the way. They're just getting better and better. But for him to say that, and I think he's mostly talking about the offensive side of the ball, right? To upgrade from being already the best NFL offense. And granted, I know we did have some hits on the line, like, Connor Williams leaving, Robert Hunt leaving, Isaiah Wynn not being a part of the team in the beginning of the season. It as concerning as it is on the offensive line, I don't think it's going to impact the game as much because Tua said it himself. We get rid of the ball quick. These guys are that fast that they're going to get the ball fast enough, and I forgot where I was freaking going. But all I'm trying to say, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm getting there. So the fact that we were able to do that and then come in and get a guy like Jonnu Smith, get a guy like OBJ, draft a guy like Isaiah Wynn, maybe even a Malik Washington. We don't know, but he might have a huge impact.
You mean Jalen Wright?
Sorry, Jalen. What did I say?
He said draft a guy like Isaiah Wynn.
Jalen Wright. Sorry. I don't know why I said Wynn, but whatever.
Yeah.
Draft a guy like Jalen Wright. The rich get richer in this, scenario, and I think we're just going to it's going to be nuts. I don't know. We don't even know what to expect, but I know it's just going to be like fireworks right off the bat.
And that kind of brings me to another point. I feel like the media has the guys who aren't really paying attention to Miami Dolphins football, they feel like we lost so much this offseason. And look, Christian Wilkins was the biggest hit that we had. In my opinion, actually, the biggest hit the Dolphins took was probably losing Andrew Van Ginkel. He was a guy that I really didn't want to lose. But either way, we lost Van Ginkel, we lost Robert Hunt, we lost Connor Williams, we lost Christian Wilkins, and Xavier Howard. Jerome Baker, another one. So yeah, I understand the names seem a little bit bigger, but to be completely honest, those who have been watching Miami Dolphins football closely know that Xavier Howard is way past his prime. And I think there's no coincidence that he still hasn't signed with a team yet. So the Dolphins' decision to not keep Xavier Howard around has been reinforced this offseason. So that's another thing. Christian Wilkins getting upwards of $27 million a season.
It's ridiculous.
Just by this graphic, we've shown it time and time again. Here it is, and it's justified by all the players that we brought in. We have a lot of pieces that we've brought in that the media is overlooking. One of them being Jonnu Smith, who I think is going to be, and that's my pick for who the breakout candidate is going to be for the Miami Dolphins this season.
I
think
that pick, though.
He has the potential to become a household name by the end of the season. We saw briefly what Tua could do with a tight end towards the end of the season when Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were a little bit banged up. And it was just that underneath route and a quick 10 yards for Tua while Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were blasting off, going for 100 yards. This guy was underneath for 10 yards, and it was a quick pitch for Tua. And imagine giving that to Jonnu instead. This is a guy that can take contact, is really good.
Can break tackles.
He's
Yards
got
after catch.
crazy yak ability.
Yeah.
So I think Jonnu Smith is my guy for the breakout candidate.
It's been fun watching you run the ball again. So you did that earlier in your career, only a couple carries the last 2 years. Is that something you're excited to add? Does it put more wear and tear on the body, or is it
Not at all, not at all, man. I understand my skill set, and I'm just trying to utilize it to the best of my ability and put this team in the best situation to win games. So, that's what I've been doing. When my number's called, whatever position it is, I'm gonna answer.
Was there a meeting that a lot of technically are going to be some pass plays, right?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Forward, they're going to be pass plays technically.
Man, we got a lot going in, man. We'll see week one. We'll see as the season goes. Like I said, I'm just, when my number's called, I'm here to answer. Yeah, man. We just, was able to get into it and, get Mike. First off, Mike was a great guy. I got to talk and learn about the person, most importantly, and what kind of coach, potentially that I would have. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what got me. You know what I mean? And obviously, I know the system that they run and Mike's ability to get guys the ball in their hands that can make plays. You know what I mean? So that was something that I definitely took to. And I'm excited to be here, man. Mike McDaniels is, great as a play caller as they come, great as a head coach as I've been around, man. That guy is really making a lot of strides and, over these past couple of years and building a real contender for a team. So excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I like the pick of Jonnu Smith. I believe we haven't had that third receiver yet, and I feel like we have two of those guys now, right? And OBJ and Jonnu Smith that can, I guess, unlock that different part to this offense that we've been waiting to see.
Yeah, and a lot has been made about who the wide receiver 3 is going to be from Miami. You already spoke about Devon Achane and how he could potentially be that number 3 option for the Dolphins. But Jonnu Smith can be one of those guys. OBJ can be one of those guys. I even had Ezukanma, before he was cut, being one of those guys, which he still has the possibility of coming back onto the team.
Yeah.
I think you actually had a pretty bold prediction about Ezukanma.
Oh, yeah, I believe he'll be on the roster by the end of the season. I think he'll be a part of this team. I believe he was only cut just because of the injuries and all that, but if he can get it together in practice, maybe turn some heads, maybe come in as a practice squad elevation for a game or two, show out. He might show that he should be on this roster, so I do think that they'll sign him eventually.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, yeah, going back to Jonnu, though, yeah, he could definitely be that number 3 option for the Dolphins. And I could see it going either way, but he would be my pick for that third option that third option behind Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
What I love here is that I feel like we can't go wrong with any of these picks, right? A guy like Jonnu Smith, we know how talented he is. We saw what he did in Tennessee back in the day. Even last year with the Falcons, I mean, he outshined Pitts. And it's crazy, right? So we have a guy like that. Well, you were going to comment on that? But.
Yeah, last year he had his most receptions and his most yards in a season. So he actually, that was probably one of his better fits last season in Atlanta, the way that they were using him. But I think we're going to bring that, Mike McDaniel is going to bring that to a whole new level with the Dolphins.
And we saw it a little bit during that Cowboys game when Tua started to throw it down the middle to the tight end, Durham Smythe, which is a guy that's not nearly as talented as a guy like Jonnu Smith receiving-wise. So I'm just excited. But it's crazy. Like I was saying, we can't go wrong with any of these picks. Devon Achane, Jonnu Smith, OBJ, Malik Washington, maybe. I mean, you never know. Crazier things have happened, right? This kid is definitely talented. You saw last year in Virginia, he was just a monster. So I don't know exactly what we're going to get this year, but I do know it's going to be big.
And I think another huge component to this, too, is it was, we put this on one of our last episodes, but it was the fact that Tua admitted on the Dan Le Batard, admitted that him, Tyreek, and Waddle all had made the decision to try and get Tyreek to the 2,000-yard mark.
Yeah.
So I think now that monkey is off their back, they can just go into the season and Tua can just play point guard and just actually more like that first season when it was Tyreek and with Tyreek and Waddle.
Yeah, that Waddle had his nice year, his second season.
Yeah, it seemed like Tua was just kind of going through his progression a little bit easier. This last season, there was an emphasis to get Tyreek the ball.
Yeah.
And obviously you want that, but I think if Tua could just stick to that point guard role and just really like find the open man, who knows who that number 3 option is going to be? But
we saw it for
we have
like
a lot of options there.
Yeah, we saw it for like that season. We saw it for like a solid 4 weeks straight. I remember it was the Bears, the Lions, the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the Texans?
Yeah.
It was like on the Browns.
Yeah, and the Browns.
So those 4 weeks straight, Tua was getting like over 300 yards, three plus touchdowns, and you saw like it was a different level of Tua. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like last year seemed a little bit more like we were force feeding Tyreek. I mean, granted he was open on a lot of the plays, so Tua should have gotten him the ball, but I don't know. I think if Tua can be that type of quarterback this year, I think that best suits this offense with all the weapons that we have because. I mean, you don't have to force feed a guy like Tyreek when you have a guy like Jonnu Smith, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, OBJ. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Actually, so I'm wearing my Tyreek tee.
Yeah.
We haven't really shown it here on the podcast yet, but we are selling these now on joinphinhub.com. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure to go check it out. These T-shirts are pretty awesome, man. It's a great material.
Yeah.
The print is super nice. Yeah, they feel good. They fit nice. And we had a couple people asking us on Instagram what they look like on, and yeah, this is what it looks like on, man. It's the real deal here.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised by the quality. I think the quality is great. Washed that one a few times.
Yeah,
and it's not fading or anything. It's not cracking. It's great, honestly. So if you guys want to check it out, we have all types of players there: Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Ramsey, OBJ, Jalen Phillips. We also have the
Zoom Squad
T-shirt there.
No,
so
it's the Legion of Zoom, actually.
Sorry, Legion of Zoom. We were between both of the names.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anything else you want to talk about with the upcoming game? I think we could maybe talk about the keys to us having a good game offensively, and then the next episode we'll talk about defensively.
Well, actually, no. We'll save that for the one of the upcoming episodes. We're going to be doing an episode before the game.
Okay.
To get into the preview, but yeah, that's our breakout candidate. Those are our breakout candidates for the offensive side of the ball. In the next episode, we'll be doing one for the defense. So stay tuned. We'll see you guys in the next one.